The sun crests the horizon, bleeding gold across the endless expanse of the grasslands. The light hits the soil, warming the packed earth of the mound. A small, compact head pushes through the surface, nostrils twitching as they catch the morning air. The prairie dog pulls itself fully into the light, planting its hind feet firmly on the dirt. It stands perfectly upright, a motionless silhouette against the vast, swaying sea of grass. It does not move. It does not blink. It rotates its head in a slow, deliberate arc, scanning the perimeter for the slightest shift in the wind or the shadow of a wing. The grass ripples 100 yards away, and the creature drops into a crouch, ears pinned back, muscles coiled tight. It waits. The movement stops. The prairie dog rises again, chest expanding as it draws a sharp breath. It opens its mouth and emits a piercing, rhythmic bark that carries across the plains. The sound cuts through the morning quiet, a signal that the day has begun. Across the field, the earth responds. A dozen heads pop up in unison, mirroring the sentinel. They are alert. They are watching. The cycle of survival in the golden grass is now in motion. The warning bark fades, but the colony does not remain exposed. One by one, they drop from the surface, vanishing into the darkness of the burrow entrances. The transition is seamless. They slide down vertical shafts, their claws clicking against the packed earth walls, descending into a sprawling, multi-acre labyrinth. This is not merely a hole in the ground. It is a city. The air here is cool, still, and thick with the scent of damp soil. Deep in the quiet chambers, the frantic energy of the surface gives way to the deliberate rhythm of the coterie. Family units gather in the central nesting rooms. A male nudges a female, his nose brushing against her cheek. She responds, her small paws working through the fur around his neck, clearing away dust and debris. They sit in a tight cluster, limbs intertwined, eyes half closed in the dim light. This grooming is not just hygiene. It is the glue of the community. Every rhythmic stroke of a paw, every gentle nip at a stray hair, reinforces the trust that keeps the family together. In the silence of the tunnels, they are no longer sentinels on the edge of danger. They are a single, coordinated unit, bound by touch and the shared warmth of the burrow. The calm of the tunnels is shattered by a single, sharp vibration. The lookout at the primary mound stiffens, ears rotating toward the northern ridge. A shadow flickers across the grass, barely a ripple in the golden light. The sentinel does not just bark. It emits a rapid, modulated sequence of sounds. This is not a generic alarm. The pitch rises and falls in a precise pattern, a coded message describing the size of the approaching shape and the velocity of its descent. A hawk is diving from the clouds. The message travels instantly. Across the colony, the response is immediate and synchronized. Every prairie dog within earshot abandons its foraging, limbs blurring as they sprint toward the nearest burrow entrance. The lookout holds its position for one final second, tracking the predator's trajectory before diving headlong into the dark. The ground above is suddenly empty, the grass swaying in the wake of the predator's passage. The warning system has stripped away the seconds between life and death. Down in the tunnels, the silence returns. But it is no longer the calm of rest. It is the tense, shallow-breathing silence of a city under siege. The predator passes, but the danger to the grassland remains. Above the tunnels, the ecosystem is a fragile web, and the prairie dog is its anchor. Without these rodents, the entire community would collapse. The black-footed ferret waits in the shadows of the entrance, its survival tied entirely to the existence of these subterranean tunnels. It does not hunt elsewhere. It relies on the prairie dog for shelter and for sustenance. When the prairie dog thrives, the ferret survives. When the colony vanishes, the ferret follows into extinction. This is the weight of the keystone species. Every movement within the burrow, every successful forage on the surface, supports a chain of life that extends far beyond the colony. The hawk circles, the coyote prowls, and the snake slithers, all drawn to the pulse of this single vital population. If the heartbeat of the prairie stops, the golden fields will fall silent. The stakes are not just for the individual, but for the entire landscape. The air turns biting, and the golden grass brittle. The urgency of the hunt fades as the frost deepens. One by one, the prairie dogs retreat into the deepest, quietest chambers of the burrow. They curl into tight, still balls, drifting into torpor. Their heartbeats slow to a rhythmic crawl, and their body temperatures plummet to match the cooling earth. The sprawling city goes silent. Above, the snow blankets the plains, sealing the tunnels in a long, frozen sleep. Weeks pass in the dark. Then, the ice cracks. The ground softens under the returning sun. A single lookout pushes through the dirt, blinking against the sudden light. It stands on its hind legs, ears twitching at the wind. It lets out a sharp, piercing bark. The city wakes. The cycle begins again, a heartbeat returning to the land.